Rabbit Hole Roundup, episode 101. Bring back this rap era. Dun dun dun. So guys, I'm going to be starting off this episode with a conversation about, in my opinion, one of the most underrated eras in rap music, the frat rap era of the mid-2000s. Now I know of course it does sound odd coming from someone who's never drank, who's never smoked, and who was never part of a frat.
I think you're being odd.
Well, I'm always odd.
But something about like the fun vibes I always enjoyed. And hey, I do like a ton of different genres. So something about like how so many of those songs made me feel, and still make me feel to this day whenever I listen to them. I don't know how, but like somehow those songs just like give me a high without needing any external substances.
Then again, I've been known to do a lot of things.
Anyways, I'll also be giving you guys my top 5 favorite artists from that era, and most of them are actually still making awesome music to this day, and deserve a lot more love in my opinion. Following that, I have a clip coming from one of my favorite positive content creators, Sam Demma, once again, where in this clip he shares wisdom talking about 4 things that every person needs in order to have a great life. And in sharing this, I'm going to help you guys fill in the answers for yourselves too. Following that, I have a clip coming from Jelly Roll, where he talks about celebrating his 41st birthday recently, and in doing so he was able to look back and see like how far he's come and all these obstacles that he's overcame. So I found this to be a super powerful message, talking about like a whole life transformation, as well as the potential for anyone to change. After that, I'll be sharing a clip coming from Wallo when he went on the Mel Robbins podcast, and in this clip it talks about how you are your own biggest enemy, and the only thing that's standing in your way is you. Powerful stuff if you ask me. And finally, I have NFL Week 15 recap, as well as like NBA talk too as part of our whole sports recap. Anyways, without further ado, let's dive deeper now. Rabbit hole time, let's go.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jared Weiss. If you guys didn't know that, must mean that you're not subscribed to the channel, so you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts in the video. Follow me on every platform, and if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to check out my book, Fight Through It by Jared Weiss. All links to purchase it on my website, which is jaredryanweiss.com. That's JaredRyanWeiss.com. Buy the book, support me, and make sure to check out all the awesome shirts in there as well. Every shirt's been designed by me, every shirt's made of 100% organic cotton, so like any support at all, as I'm always saying, will be very much appreciated. So let's dive deeper into this rabbit hole now. So guys, it's been a minute since like, I dove into one of my fun music conversations, and as I've talked about on here in the past, I do happen to have like a very wide-ranging taste in music.
It's a fusion of jazz and funk. It's called junk.
And depending on the day or the month or the season, I could be going from rap to pop to punk to country or 90s rap into 2000s pop or whatever it may be. And this is why I have like so many videos about like Andy Grammer and Jelly Roll, and also videos about Lil Wayne and Drake and Eminem, and videos about Good Charlotte and like All American Rejects. I feel like in this whole current era with the whole meshing of sounds, as well as like all the seemingly random collaborations out there these days, it's becoming more and more common to be a fan of multiple genres, and like I think it's really cool to see. And part of that also has to do with like the whole Apple Music and Spotify era too. Because of course these days like it's so easy to just like change music and change playlists at the click of a button. So anyways, one of the most underrated styles of rap music, or rather a whole rap era that I think needs a lot more love, is the whole frat rap era. AKA the college / like alternative rap era. Now as I'm sure you know by now if you've been following me for any amount of time, I've never done drugs and like I've never smoked and I've never drank either. So you might be saying to yourself, knowing that, how could I possibly like frat rap? And also I've never been in a frat.
It just don't add up!
Well, I guess it comes down to like how music makes you feel, and all of us also like internalize things differently with all of our individual senses. So while you might hear one of these frat rap songs, you might listen while partying, while I might be listening in the car and like I feel chill, or you could also be someone like who listens to country music while sipping on whiskey in the back of your Chevy, while someone else out there just like enjoys hearing it like on a long car ride. Anyways, who are some of my favorites from this era? Let's go top 5 list now. Number 1, we have Chiddy Bang. He's still one of my favorite rappers to this day, as like he's still pumping out great music in my opinion. But the combination of Chidera, alongside his former college roommate Noah Bresson, aka Zafoon Jones, was such a vibe in the early 2000s, and still to this day. They came around like 2009, like 2010 I think. So Zafoon of course being the producer, he was amazing at like using samples of old songs, and Chiddy brought the rhymes of course. One of, if not like my all-time favorite song, is actually Opposite of Adults. You know the song that goes like, hey, I once was a kid, all I had was a dream, more money, more pounds when I get out, I'm piled up. Now I'm dope with the bread, we so fresh and we flow. Alright, anyways, that song of course samples Kids by MGMT. Amazing song. Now what I love about Chiddy is like, for him it wasn't always just about drugs or getting high in the songs, although of course he does have songs about those things. But he also has songs like Dream Chasing as well as Mind Your Manners and Old Ways, which are all about following your dreams as well as like standing out from the crowd and not fitting in. So always like super fun vibe with Chiddy. Plus he had some great features over the years, whether it was Big Sean or Wiz Khalifa, amongst many others, so like I'm a huge fan of Chiddy Bang. Number 2, I'm going with Hoodie Allen. Of course still like another one of my favorite current rappers, who still got it and has still been crushing it in recent years, especially when it comes to like all of his collabs with Connor Price, who happens to be my current favorite rapper. So Hoodie, another one who started in the mid-2000s and caught fire amongst the whole college scene, who once again, while I was never a part of that myself, something about like that style of music always hit home with me, and like I don't even get it why. Also, fun fact, Hoodie actually grew up like a town over from me. Anyways, his biggest hit of all time was actually No Interruption, and he also had a song called Famous for A-Holes featuring Chiddy Bang. He also had another great song called Wave Goodbye featuring Swayze. So always like super fun vibe that you didn't need to be drinking or getting high to appreciate, or at least I didn't have to in my opinion. He's also got the fun white boy rapper status, and he embraces that like as you could hear from his lyrics. And of course some of my recent favorites from Hoodie are songs like Back to You, as well as like the whole buddy system with Connor Price, his recent sampling of the Justin McCartney song which turned into Pretty Face, and yes, he totally exemplified the whole frat party, but yet I love his flow, and he does also add in some lyrics about like grinding his way to the top, as well as always being seen as like underrated. So once again, something about the whole frat rap vibes were always just like a lot of fun to me. Number 3, I'm going with Swayze. So once again, this might be stretching my taste in music, because once again, not a huge fan of like the lyrics themselves, as so many of his lyrics are about getting high, but rather it's the whole vibes that he creates. Call me weird, but like even as someone who's been sober my whole life, the style of music just like creates a whole fun outdoor vibe. So Swayze is sort of like a reggae rapper, and he's been around for a while now. So some of my favorite songs of his are Buzzin', or Lazy Susan, or Corona and Lime, or more recently 7 Day Weekend. And it's like there might be very little I can relate to in his lyrics, but the beats and overall vibe is just like really cool, I think. It's like relaxing but rap and flows all at the same time. I can't fully explain it, but it's like you feel really good after listening, and even while completely sober you can totally feel like all the vibes. Another one of my favorite Swayze songs is called Love Is Overrated. Once again, it's not the lyrics itself, but all of Swayze's vibes are just immaculate. Number 4, I'm going with Gym Class Heroes. So this group of course was led by Travis McCoy, who always brought the fire in the early 2000s. Once again, I'm not endorsing most of the lyrics, although this group happened to have some of my favorite motivational songs too. But that group got super popular at one point, and I think they may even be making a comeback soon too. So another one of my all-time favorite songs ever, which I view almost as like my theme song, Healing from a Life-Threatening Illness, or the theme song behind my book Fight Through It. So what song am I referring to? The song Fighter featuring Ryan Tedder, The Fighter. So the lyrics in that song give me chills every time I hear them. And it's like the perfect mix of rap mixed with Ryan Tedder's amazing voice. As he does the chorus, I love it. Plus I also love the song by them that made it into the movie Never Back Down, called It's Okay But Just This Once. You also have the song Close Off. Travis McCoy is actually a really underrated rapper in my opinion, who I'm not sure like actually gets all the love and appreciation that I think he deserves. But anyways, another super fun group, Gym Class Heroes. And finally at number 5, I was initially thinking of like Chris Webby, but he's more of a mix of frat rap with also like hardcore stuff too. So I'm not sure I put him fully in that era. I was also never really a fan of like Asher Roth, because to me he sort of went too far for my liking when it came to his lyrics. Nothing against him, of course you do you. But being a fully sober person, I couldn't really find anything common or redeemable about like his lyrics. At the very least most of them, aside from the song Grind. But I do need something to pull from. Whether it's like insanely good vibes that like Swayze has, where the lyrics don't have to play a huge role for me, or at the very least give me some motivational lyrics to go with, to go alongside like whatever it is that you're singing about. Anyway, so my number 5, I'm going with Mac Miller, early Mac Miller, as I think he definitely fit in with that era, like especially with all of his early stuff. So of course, R.I.P. Mac, but like he was always one of the greats, and with songs such as Knock Knock or the whole Kids mixtape, all of his early stuff totally personified the whole mid-2000s era of rap, which meant fun but had like a great flow to it too. And of course, his sound and his lyrics kept evolving as he got older, and he became someone who had like a ton of depth to him, but was also able to just like sing about fun stuff too. Anyways, what do you guys think? Does anyone else out there wish like this era of rap made a whole comeback? Now next, we have another clip coming from one of my favorite positive content creators, as you know by now, Sam Demma. And in this clip, he talks about 4 things that every human needs in order to have like a great life.
I got some of the best wisdom in my life from a gentleman sitting at a restaurant bar. He said, Sam, there are 4 things that every human being needs to live a meaningful life. You might want to write these down. He said, number 1, every human being needs something to love. Number 2, every human being needs something to look forward to. Number 3, every human being needs something to work on. And number 4, every human being needs something to believe in. To love, to look forward to work on, and to believe in.
So now, let's review this list. And I want to help you guys think of these and come up with your own list when it comes to things that make your life meaningful too. So, something to love, something to look forward to, something to work on, and something to believe in. So let's start with number 1, something to love. I think this has to start with ourselves, and loving the person who's looking back at us in the mirror, because without that, no other love is going to fill us up and no other love is going to take that place. No one has the same heart as you, as I've discovered, but if you fill up your own cup first, then you can love others and find others who can complement that. And this doesn't just have to be like romantic love, but of course there's one kind.
It's more like love her.
Oh, you sly dog! Woof woof!
So this could be about family members, but of course it doesn't even have to be like blood related. It can mean a super deep friendship, it could be like a pet you have. Or it can be a significant other, if you found the person who makes your life even better. Next we have something to look forward to. So I believe like this is a big one too. I know that for me, whenever I get into a rut, or things start to feel like monotonous, as can happen along our journeys at times, it's totally normal. And this doesn't mean like we're doing something wrong, but give yourself something on the calendar to look forward to. It can be plans with a friend, it could be like an upcoming vacation, a special workout that you plan to do, a movie that you want to watch, or even like a show that you're hoping to watch like later tonight. It could be something really simple, but having something to look forward to is going to help you to stay on track. Third, we have something to work on. So I think the whole glamorizing of retiring and never working again and just like sitting on your couch watching TV all the time, I think maybe that whole thing actually leads to like an early decline.
I'm retiring.
From what? From the grind. I mean, who needs it?
And of course, overworking isn't good either, but it's about finding the balance in between, having something meaningful that like you're working on career-wise, or maybe in school or sports or on like a sports team, and constantly setting new goals and working towards them, with also making time for rest and balance too. But having things to work on is always going to keep you motivated and like excited to wake up every day. And finally, number 4, we have something to believe in. And this could be something spiritual like your belief in God or like a higher power. It could also mean believing in your dreams working out and seeing it all coming together. That's super powerful, I think. And I fully agree with all 4 things that Sam mentioned. Now it's time for you to fill in your list too, using the tools that I just gave you and the whole outline. Moving ahead, I have a clip coming from one of my favorite artists, Jelly Roll, who recently celebrated his 41st birthday, and he had a powerful message to share.
It's my 41st birthday, y'all. And I'm not saying that because I want birthday praises. I'm saying that because I used to drink and do cocaine on my birthday. I used to do codeine and pills on my birthday. Now on my birthday, one of my best friends wakes me up and says, let's go for a fucking run, baby. Me and Cam Haynes getting these miles in this morning, baby. That's what God can do for you in a couple years, baby. That's what God can do. If you didn't enjoy your birthday this year, you can change it by next birthday, baby. I promise you can.
So first off, recently I've been seeing people like hating on Jelly Roll recently, or calling him fake, or looking at his past. And of course I don't know him personally, but I do know like he's helped so many people over the past few years by showing them like the power of change and the power of personal transformation. And it sucks how judgmental so many people could be online these days. And I'm not a fan of the whole self-righteous culture, because it's like, who are you to judge others so harshly, especially when everyone like has their own imperfections too. So many people out there these days are so quick to judge someone based on just like one thing like they saw online, but yet they're not willing to look in the mirror themselves. Jelly Roll isn't a perfect person. He of course has like a very flawed past, as he's shared numerous times, and yet he's grown from that and like he's used this experience to help others now, whether through his lyrics or his speeches, or any of his podcast appearances too. Plus, say what you want about him, but like he also liked one of my posts, even though he has millions of followers, and yet he liked one of my posts when like I didn't even tag him, and at the time I only had like 700 followers. I'm not sure how many other celebrities out there would do that. But anyways, he lost over 200 pounds naturally, after having a lifelong food addiction, and issues with that, and plus he's not addicted to drugs anymore either. He went from being in and out of jail in his early years so many times, to now winning awards for his music in his late 30s and early 40s. He's showing people that your past doesn't have to define you, and it's always possible to change and grow and learn from your mistakes. And not only this, but he's also held himself accountable. If you listen to any of his past interviews, when he was overweight, he told everyone all the challenges that he was dealing with. But as he told Jay Shetty, his favorite poem of all time had to do with looking at the man in the mirror, because as he said, you can never fool the man in the mirror. He told Joe Rogan that he was going to lose all this weight last year, and his whole goal was to take people along for the journey. And now, looking back, he's done just that, and I found this to be amazing and super inspiring too. I'm sure that it wasn't easy, and he had to overcome all his addictions along the way. Plus, he's also on the road all the time, so he really had to be fully dialed into this. And I'm so glad that he's able to look back now and see how far he's come, and hopefully he keeps this up. Amazing stuff, Jelly Roll. Keep it up. Now finally, before diving into this week's sports recap, I have a clip from Wallo on the Mel Robbins podcast, which was also a great overall episode too. I would highly recommend checking that out. But in this clip, it says that nobody's going to stop you but you. Everything else is just words, distractions, but you're the only one standing in your own way. Let's watch together.
When is you going to stop being the biggest enemy in your life? You're your biggest enemy. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to stop you. So what they're going to talk about you? So what they're going to laugh at you? What does that mean? Haters is your marketing team. Let them work. Haters is your marketing team. Let them work. They tell people about you. You know how many haters will get you followers? From laughing at you or sending your stuff around to their friends. Look at this clown. Look at this. They did that to me. They laughed at me. So what? They was laughing at me because I was different. I was laughing at them because they all the same. What makes you cool? Look at it. Look at what's going on. The smart, fearless people is out here destroying shit. The people that say, I'm gonna sit here, I don't care, nothing, I'm gonna stay on this, I'm gonna build my app, they running stuff. When you gonna start running your life? Ain't nobody worrying about you. Nobody is gonna get in your don't nobody care. Do you know how easy it is to set a business up? Do you know how easy it is to get a trademark? Do you know how easy it is to do these things? Do you know how easy it is to open up a bank account? Do you know how easy it is to get a passport? Do you know how easy it is to get a real ID? Do you know how easy that is? Nobody block you from doing them. So you mean to tell me, hold up, I could go on one of these sites and I could set up my whole business? I could just walk in the bank with 2 pieces of paper and say, here in my ID, and they can open up an account. I get a card. I get American. I could go on social media and promote my products for free. I'm sure somebody's going to stop me. I'm sure somebody's going to say, no, you're not, Wallo. You can't come home from prison and start. Who is going? Don't nobody care. Can't nobody stop me. Nobody is going to get in your fucking way.
Can you please tell that to the person
Nobody
listening?
is going to get in your fucking way but you. Because what happened is, this how it be. You be going to do your thing, right? You be going to do your thing, and this what happened. You jump right in front of yourself and say, you ain't going nowhere. You ain't going to be great. You can't do it. You your biggest fucking hater. You always talk yourself out of ideas. Soon as you say, here it is, I put the idea together, I'm ready to do it. No, you're not. Then you sit back down. We walking around with computers in our pockets. When I grew up, I didn't know nobody in the neighborhood that had a fucking computer, man. You only see that when you go downtown and you go into one of them buildings, and the computer was big as this table back then. Nobody's going to stop you but you.
So, very well said and super powerful point. Are there people out there who are going to try to slow us down and who are going to root against us? Of course. Are there haters and bullies out there who are going to laugh at you and mock you for going after your dreams? Of course, once again. I actually had a video that I put out last week on the Jared and James channel talking about how recently I found out that guys from my high school were making fun of me over 10 years later based on my book sales. I was always nice to these guys, and meanwhile people who I hadn't spoken to or seen in over 10 years are laughing at me and everything I'm doing. Did I let this stop me? Hell no.
Oh, hell no.
Those people don't mean anything to me. And if they're talking about me 10 years after high school, how great could their lives possibly be? So if you don't believe in yourself and you're not your own biggest fan, it's going to make the journey infinitely harder. Especially because what happens when you don't have the applause and people aren't clapping for you every day? Are you still mentally strong enough to do the work anyways? I also made a post recently talking about like how the middle part of the journey is the least glamorous and the hardest part. Because that's when it's you battling against you every day, and that's a daily fight that you have to win. And you have to make the choice that you're going to make it to the other side no matter what. But unless someone physically holds you back, Wallo was totally right. They can't stop you. And the only person standing in your way is you. All the rest is just like chirping words coming from people on the sidelines, but you can't let them stop you. You're way stronger and better than you think. Anyways, on to this week's sports recap, let's go now. So let's start with the Thursday night game, because don't you guys just like love it whenever I'm right? Especially when I'm basically the only one saying something that's totally different from like everyone else, be it I'm the one who's right. It's awesome. So the same thing happened when I said like Joe Flacco still had it, even when he was in Cleveland. And what happened when he went to Cincinnati? So we had the same thing happen with Kirk Cousins on Thursday night, who just so happens to be like another one of my favorites. And yet people online love to hate on him for some weird reason. Anyways, I was seeing it over the past few weeks. His confidence was coming back, and so he was starting to like rebuild it all like ever since Penix went down with an injury. So he balled out and played some spoiler against the Bucks. He went for 373 and 3 touchdowns, and Bijan Robinson was like calling him the GOAT afterwards. Bijan actually had a monster game himself, but he did also have a fumble in this one. And also Kirk overcame a drop touchdown pass by Sills, which was actually a beautiful pass by him. So my hope is that like he's able to keep this up and get another opportunity going into next year too. People forget like how good he was in the first half of last season prior to his injury. Now also Kyle Pitts had a massive game in this one as he had 11 catches for 166 and 3 touchdowns of his own. For the Bucks, that team drops to 7-7, although so did the Panthers, but we're going to get to that in a bit. Mike Evans returned in a big way as he had 6 catches for 132 yards, and Chris Godwin had a touchdown catch too. But I see all these people out there who are saying like Baker might still be playing through an injury, and like it's definitely possible. I could see it, but I still thought like overall he looked pretty good in this one. The team overall though like hasn't been great in recent weeks, and part of that is of course on him. Next, let's skip ahead to my other favorite game from this week, Phillip Rivers, the return of the grandpa. So this almost ends up being the best story of this season so far. 5 years since his last game played, and at 44 years old, Phillip Rivers came back to the Colts, and all things considered, he played really well, I think. And at the very least, he gave them a chance. And credit to Shane Steichen and the whole coaching staff for creating a whole game plan that was actually perfect for Rivers to run. I mean, the game plan was good, the protection was good. It was also basically all shotgun, like a lot of runs too. But Rivers managed to do like what he's done like his whole career, which is quick decision making. And he was 18 for 27 with a touchdown, of course. And also he did like have a pick to end it. But he also led the potential game-winning drive that led to a 60-yard field goal by a groupie. Don't forget also, this was against like one of the top defenses in Seattle. And the game was in Seattle too. Seattle unfortunately had to spoil the party. And this reminded me so much of like the Bengals defense spoiling Flacco's 470 yards and 4 touchdowns in that game against the Bears. Anyway, still an incredible story and an overall success as far as I see it. I mean, you kept him upright, he threw a touchdown pass, and he came within seconds of a win. Anyways, I loved watching it. Next up, the Bills, led by Josh Allen, were down 21-0 in the first half, but when you have Josh Allen, anything can happen. He had 3 touchdown passes and James Cook had 2 rushing touchdowns on the ground, as well as like over 100 rushing yards too. As they managed to like overcome that poor Bills rush defense, which has haunted them all season, like as Travion Henderson continued that in this game, as he ran for over 148 yards and had 2 rushing touchdowns, and Drake May had 2 rushing touchdowns too. But yet the Bills won 35-31. The Bills have started to like turn it up recently, and have become the team like all of us expect them to be from the start of the season. The Ravens shut out the Bengals in an ugly game for them. Lamar Jackson definitely looked better in this one, and Zay Flowers had a big game too. Lamar had 2 touchdown passes, one of them was to Flowers. And King Henry had a massive game too as he always thrives in December. And the Ravens managed to eliminate the Bengals from playoff contention. I could tell like that something wasn't right in Cincy, based on Joe Burrow's comments early in the week. It may sound like he wants out as he threw 2 picks in this game and no touchdown passes. I can't say I fully blame him either. The Jaguars have been scorching hot as that team improves to 10-4. And now Trevor Lawrence may actually be actualizing his potential. I mean, he's always had the physical gifts. He's always looked the part. But his decision making has been like questionable at best. But this game, it was not questionable. He threw for 330 yards, 6 total touchdowns, in a rout of the Jets 48-20. Travis Etienne caught 3 touchdown passes in this one. If Lawrence can keep up this level of play, the Jaguars may actually be like a legit contender in the AFC. Next up, I have to talk about Shador and the Browns, who got destroyed by the Bears 31-3. Now, as I keep saying, I do try to stay like indifferent on Shador, but we can't be talking about him like he's a Hall of Famer when he balls out against the Titans, and then put no accountability on him when he puts up 3 points and has a pass rating of 30 with 3 picks against the Bears. So yes, the pick that Jerry Jeudy dropped was not on him, but I also can't sugarcoat it. This was not a good game from Shador. I'm not saying like he's never going to be good or that he can't be a pro, but he clearly still has like a lot of growth to do. And it's not all on him. The Browns have their share of issues. But my whole thing is like when you talk the way that he did and put a target on your back, I think you're actually hurting your own development by making us all rush to judge your development. The Bears got back on track as Caleb actually had some crazy passes in this one. And of course the Bears ground game did their job as well, even though Myles Garrett added like another sack and closes in on the record. Next up, we saw the Chiefs' dynasty end in an ugly fashion as Patrick Mahomes walked off the field after tearing his ACL. He took 5 sacks in this one against like a stout Chargers defense, as the Chargers improved to 10-4. Herbert also like took a beating as well. That Chargers O-line doesn't offer him like a ton of protection, but yet his team has managed to keep on winning. Is Travis Kelce done there? What about like Andy Reid too? The Texans cruised to their 6th straight win, as that team won 40-20 over the Cardinals. CJ Stroud had a great game in this one, going 22 of 29 for 260 and 3 touchdowns, and like his receiver Nico Collins had his 3rd straight year of over 1,000 receiving yards, as he had 85 yards receiving and 2 touchdown catches in this one. Another big game because there were a lot of them this week. The Saints upset the Panthers 20-17, and the QB who I called the most impressive rookie from this year last week, Tyler Shuck, had another incredible performance. He had over 300 combined yards and a touchdown pass to Olave. I'm telling you guys, Shuck is the real deal. He's tough, he makes some top-level throws, and like I'm not even sure like who's on his offense outside of Olave right now. The Panthers missed out on a big opportunity to seize control of that division. The Rams, on the other hand, clinched playoff berth after a huge win in a really tough, hard-fought game against the Lions. So the Rams won this one 41-34. The Lions put up a big fight just as I had expected, and I definitely gave the Lions a chance going into this one, as the team was playing for desperation, fighting for their playoff lives. Aiden Hutchinson came up with like a big interception off of Stafford, and Goff came in incredibly hot as he threw 3 touchdown passes and 338 yards. And Amon-Ra St. Brown had a massive performance in this one too, as he had 13 catches for 164 yards and 2 touchdowns. Anyone who has him in fantasy must have had a great week this week. And also Jameson Williams had 7 catches for 134 and a touchdown too. But yet it wasn't enough to stop this year's top QB, and the team who I consider to be like the best team in all of football. Matthew Stafford threw for 368 and had 2 touchdown passes to Colby Parkinson. However, Puka and Devontae were both hurt at one point. Hopefully it's not going to be long-term injuries, but Stafford of course kept it rolling. My Packers took an unfortunate loss this week in a really tough game against the Broncos. I've had my doubts about the Broncos for so much of the season, but that team is tough. Sean Payton has been coaching them really well, Bo Nix has been playing at a super high level, and what made this game even worse was that Mike Parsons went down with a torn ACL. Gotta be kidding me. For the Packers though, Josh Jacobs had a great game. He had 1 sick Moss touchdown catch, and also a big rushing touchdown too, but like it wasn't enough for my Packers, as Bo Nix was basically flawless in this one. He threw for over 300 yards and had 4 touchdown passes, and Surtain had a big late game interception in this one too. Now to close up this week's NFL recap, the 49ers beat the Titans pretty easily. Brock Purdy had a big game in this one. The Vikings had a surprising upset win over the Cowboys, and spoiled their playoff hopes. JJ McCarthy may actually be getting better. I'm not really a fan like of his whole attitude, but as a player he's definitely getting better, and he had 3 total touchdowns in this one. Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown shined in like much needed get back game against the Raiders of course, 31-0, and the Commanders beat the Giants 29-21. In the Monday night game, Aaron Rodgers shined once again, played like lights out football, and Metcalf had a crazy strong touchdown, as the Steelers have looked way better recently, and look like they might be a playoff team. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Rodgers. The Dolphins, on the other hand, finally had their magic run out. Now for the NBA Cup games. The Spurs and Thunder had an intense game over the weekend in the Cup semifinals, and like while I still think the Thunder are the best team in the NBA, by far probably, the Spurs with Wemby are a different animal. I mean, just by like having him on the court, as defense you always have to be accounting for him. Plus he gets his hand on like every single rebound, and in the first half at one point he had like a plus 20 plus minus in maybe like 10 minutes of play. My one suggestion to him, however, though, like, is always keep the ball high, because the only way that you're going to allow a smaller defender like Alex Caruso to beat you is if you bring the ball low. He's of course an amazing defender though. But Wemby was hitting tough shots, and he also had like a big block on Chet. Castle and Vassell both had big games in this one, as Vassell's more of the shooter and Castle's like more of the slasher. Now tonight of course we have Knicks Spurs in the NBA Cup Finals, which overall I've been liking it. It may not be exactly playoff vibes, but it does seem to be like above a regular season game at the very least. So I'm calling it a win for the NBA. The Knicks have been playing great overall too, as that team should be. Brunson's been putting up 40-point games. Towns has been playing well. The bench has still been struggling a little bit, even in spite of like all the upgrades from this past offseason. But I'm not sure like how they're going to defend Wemby. Maybe Mitchell Robinson's going to use like his strength against him to overpower him. Even though I like the Knicks, I'm predicting a Spurs win though. Elsewhere in the NBA, the Spencer brothers have been putting up massive performances. Have they been taking over the NBA? I mean, Cam Spencer has 13 threes in his last 2 games, and he's shooting like an incredible percentage for the Grizzlies. And Pat Spencer, the former best lacrosse player in the nation, has been putting up numbers for the Warriors whenever he gets the time. Also, Cooper Flag put up 42 last night for the Mavericks, the highest scoring total for any 18-year-old in NBA history. He's looking like the real deal. I mean, like he has incredible athleticism, the shot-making ability, the motor. It's all there for him. He's going to be a really good player going forward. Anyways, that's your sports recap for the week. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get back to the end of the video now. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Hope you guys enjoyed all the topics. If you did, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I will catch you guys next time. Stay positive, stay hustling, stay grinding. Catch you next time. Peace.